What is up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video. I know it's been a while, but today we start a new coaster project series. I know you guys loved the Mach Extreme spinning coaster series, and I've been wanting to do another coaster series for a while. So basically, if you haven't seen the last coaster series, this pretty much is just a small project. It's probably going to just be a few episodes, and that's going to be it. So basically, all I'm doing is making a coaster, building a coaster with some nice scenery, maybe custom supports and stuff like that, nice station and everything like that, and putting it up on the workshop for you guys. So last time was the Mach Extreme spinning coaster, and for this project, we're going to be creating a Intamin Multi-Launch that is heavily inspired a lot by, I would say, velocicoaster and such like that, because velocicoaster is about to open to the public. I know it's been soft opening and stuff, and now it is officially got me hyped because I'm hoping to get down to Florida to ride velocicoaster for myself. So I'm very excited for that ride. But to most resemble that type of coaster, I ended up using the track for the one of the launch coasters. It was the Formula Rosa inspired track, whatever it's called. I forgot the name of the track in game, but I thought that track had the most resemblance to velocicoaster's track. Velocicoaster's style does change between like a thick spine, which has like the double spine, and then it also has just the single spine. I believe it goes in between. This one is strictly just the double spine, so we're just gonna rock with it because it does resemble the ride the most. It was either this or the Torque, but I felt like this one kind of felt a little bit better, and I did end up using the mod where I could use the LSM motors, LSM launches, which means I did have to cover it up with some track, which can be tricky sometimes. So basically in this episode, we're just going to be focusing on the layout. If you know how this projects kind of go, I usually start with my layout, get it smoothed out, get the ride that I want to. Then I usually do either the station and the supports, kind of both. The next episode will probably be the station, most likely. So as for theming of the ride, it is going to kind of remain a generic themed, so it's not going to be like a velocicoaster kind of style theming of this coaster. It's basically just going to be like a generically themed coaster, because I do want to put on the workshop for you guys, and then if you guys want to theme it yourself, you're more than welcome to. But I want to keep it generic for those that maybe just want to add this type of coaster from the workshop and use it from there. So that's kind of my idea behind this coaster itself. I'm very excited for this project because I actually have been kind of practicing a little bit for this kind of coaster type and everything like that. I haven't built really anything like this before, so going into the layout, it does start off, I do have it starting off with a start launch, so it does stop and then launches, kind of like the regular velocicoaster. I am keeping it, I am keeping my kind of blind going into velocicoaster. I don't know the theming all that well. I don't know any of that. I haven't looked at any POVs. I'm kind of saving it for my first ride, so I'm excited for that. But as for like the track layout and stuff, I have a pretty good idea for the most part. So this is going to go into the second launch, which is going to be a rolling launch, and I did put in a block section there just so I can be able to run the trains efficiently the way I want to. That way when this one rolls through the launch, the next one is able to dispatch. You know, that's kind of how block sections work. But since I did use the LSM, gotta cover it up with regular track, and we're gonna put in some of the launch fins in later when we get into a lot of the scenery stuff as well. So I do plan on custom supporting this coaster as well. I'm going to take a lot of references, of course, from velocicoaster and everything like that. So for the first half of the ride, it's a lot of twist turns, and I do have that Outer Banks section. Now that I'm going to start talking about the layout a little bit. And then going into the second launch, I did want to do kind of a top hat element similar to velocicoaster, where we will meet our max height. I think it ended up coming up to about 188 foot tall hill, so it is about 30, almost 40 feet taller than velocicoaster, kind of. So I wanted to make a nice big hill and drop, and I don't think it looks that tall. It doesn't seem like it's close to 200 feet like it is for some reason. To me, it doesn't seem that tall, but it apparently is. So, but for the first half of the ride, you can see I am smoothing it out right here. We do have a roll, kind of like a 0G roll, and then have an outer bank turn and some twists and turns here and there just to get the ride started. The second half of the ride is what I wanted to be kind of the main attraction, to where that's going to be a little bit crazier. You're going to get a higher speed, and I believe the max speed of the coaster ended up being around 77 miles an hour, somewhere like that. So a little bit faster than velocicoaster. So basically it is crazy. I think the track length ended up being like 6,800 or something like that. It's pretty crazy on my creation here of how big this ended up being, which is actually really awesome. So that actually turned out quite nice. I did have a little bit of a hiccup here where it does glitch out. So when you do overlap the tracks, you got to make sure they are overlapping not perfectly. Otherwise, there's a glitch where the train will actually kind of get stuck or turn around or something like that. So you got to be a little bit careful when you do use that. But for those, again, wondering, before I get a lot of comments, I am using the mod in order to use the invincible trains on this type of track. So basically, I thought the invincible trains were the closest resembling the velocicoaster trains. They're not perfect, but I felt like the style of them and everything just kind of matched the best. If there's any other ones that you guys have an idea that might match a little bit better, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys have ideas if you have already done this yourself or so. So it would be very, very helpful. You know, but I've been wanting to get back into a minor little project, side project, just to kind of keep me occupied, and just to do a little bit. I don't know exactly how my pacing of the my pacing of these episodes will be. When I say that, I don't exactly know the gap between episodes, so I don't know if I'll be working on it like very often. We'll see. But I wanted to make sure I had a stall on this coaster as well, so I did place in a little bit of a nice stall. It does get some good hang time, so it does kind of drag through that a little bit. So that I tried to keep the pacing up as much as I could, but there are potentially some pacing issues in a couple spots, not too much. I've been adjusting different things to kind of help with that, and I've been adjusting with the launch speeds. I've been adjusting the friction multiplier and stuff like that, just to kind of get that perfect speed. So when you're building a coaster, sometimes instead of completely changing a layout, sometimes if you just kind of tweak some of those settings, like launch speeds, lift speeds, and like your multiplier speeds, friction multiplier speeds, you can you know, not have to change as much, and it kind of can make it a little bit easier. In this case, that's kind of what I did. There could be a few things I could adjust later on, but we'll see. I think the pacing's okay. It does seem to kind of drag in this last section here just a little bit, but it's not that bad. So I think I got it to where I'm a little bit pretty satisfied with it. It does hit that final brake run pretty hard still, even though it does seem like a loose speed. Maybe it's just because I did a last little helix here to finish the ride up. You know, I was kind of planning on slamming into the brakes right after that turn, but I decided to go ahead and put in this helix. Otherwise, it would have been kind of I don't know. I might try removing the helix and seeing how it works potentially, but the helix in there gives it the nice track length, and I think it does slow it down enough to where it hits the brakes kind of at a good pace. You know, it's not going too fast, not going too slow. And again, I do want to try and put an emphasis on realism here as much as I can. So throughout this, I do use my smoothing method, where I do go back and forth through the elements twice, go back and forth and smooth 3 pieces at a time twice. which is very effective, and it did smooth out fairly well, so I'm pretty excited about that. I did have the smoothing mod for a while, but I did end up uninstalling it because it did not really work with my smoothing method very well, and did end up making my coasters very unsmooth. I think it works more with like the 4 meter or below method better than any other, and I think that's what that smoothing tool was mainly made for. So I didn't end up keeping it because I feel like all my POVs and stuff were much smoother, way smoother, without it. So I decided to go without it. Because I don't use the 4 meter method and stuff. And if you think the smoothing mod is great and it works for you, that's awesome. But for right now, I decided to leave it out for now. I tried to give it a lot of chances, but I decided not to keep it in. So I did have to do a little bit of dispatch interval, otherwise the other train actually stops on the second launch. Which does kind of suck, so I didn't time it out perfectly, but that's what the dispatch interval's for. But anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you think. And make sure you comment, like, and subscribe for more amazing content like this. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day and even cooler tomorrow. Thanks, and goodbye.